Let's get straight to it. My name is Nicole Hernandez, and today we got to talk about the few things that were skated over during the Diddy trial. Okay. There was a few things that I felt like didn't get the attention that it needed, or maybe you just didn't catch in the news that we need to talk about. Um, and and I'm also going to share with you guys the time I ran into Diddy. All right? So let's get into it. First thing first, Carisha, also known as Young Miami, she went through this whole trial and didn't have to get on the stand. Okay? How did you do that, Carisha? I was definitely expecting her at some point to get on the stand. And the fact that she didn't, I don't know, was a little odd. Some people are saying that Diddy's defense team didn't feel the need to put anyone on the stand because they didn't feel like the prosecution proved their point. But I just knew Carisha was going to show up in all fur in the springtime and get on the stand. But she didn't. And I thought that was odd. Next up, did you guys catch the Obama shaped pills? Like every day, Diddy was popping Obama shaped allegedly. Oh my goodness. This whole video is alleged, okay? Even though people got on the stand, they spoke on it. This is alleged, all right? I'm just talking about what happened during the trial. Now, the Obama shaped pills was so odd because I didn't even know they did that. Like, I'm not really in that type of vibe. But to think that there's people just popping stuff with people's faces. I don't know. That was kind of weird to me. And I didn't feel like people spoke about that enough. Okay. Next thing, since we're talking about the pills, you know, Diddy must be in some serious withdrawal, right? I could not imagine the amount of drug use that was alleged in the prosecution and all the people that came on the stand and talked about all the use and how it goes everywhere with him and somebody always has it on hand, and then he had to go to jail. The withdrawal had to be crazy. Did you guys catch that he actually had a FO freak off planned the day he got arrested? Like, he was ready to do his last hurrah and the girl was flying in, and then he got arrested. Did you guys know that? Okay, I just thought I just add that in. That was weird. I also thought it was weird that if you follow the trial, then you know that there's an on again, off again girlfriend named Gina, and Gina sat down with Tasha K about 5 years ago and spilled all the beans. But when it came to getting on the stand, Gina was nowhere to be found. And the crazy thing about Gina is she was really the problem for a lot of the girls. So, like the Jane Doe, the Cassie situation, like their issue had a lot to do with Gina. They always felt like Gina was getting in the way, or like they couldn't spend time with Diddy because he was with Gina or he was doing things with Gina. They also felt that way about Kim Porter. And Jane Doe also felt that way about Carisha. But, anyways, even Young Miami, I'm saying Carisha, whatever, even Carisha Young Miami didn't like Gina. So, and that was also online. Let me know if you want me to read those tweets, a little rewind. That was funny time there. And it's weird that Gina spilled all that tea on Tasha K, but she didn't get on the stand. They did say that she may have won some type of lawsuit, but even after the lawsuit with Diddy that she did civilly or, between the two of them, to just get on Tasha K, say everything you had to say, and then didn't get on the stand and then go in hiding, that was just real weird to me. A lot of people are saying it's because she still wants to be with Diddy. And to get on Tasha K, say how all the crazy things that alleged Diddy did, but then when it came to go to trial and that you still want to be with him, that Gina situation is wild. And I could see why the other girls were like, couldn't stand her because sis won't go away. She's standing 10 toes down, okay? Another thing that I thought was odd is the prosecution really wanted them to dig deeper into the Kid Cudi situation with the dog, and it got kicked out of court. But I really want to know, like, what happened with the dog? Okay, what happened with the dog? I like Diddy. What did you do to this dog? After Diddy allegedly went into Kid Cudi's house, allegedly he the dog got sick and the dog shortly died after. That's what Kid Cudi said. But like, what did you do to that poor dog? Like, and usually when it comes to animals, people get real crazy about their animals. And in this situation, I feel like there was not as much attention about the dog, maybe because it got kicked out of the trial, but I just felt like Kid Cudi should have maybe got his dog tested. And we've seen, like, how dare you allegedly go into the house and then hurt my dog? Like, I don't know. That was just weird, okay? I also thought, please forgive me because I know this trial is crazy. I also thought one of the funniest things that happened on this trial was Diddy's assistant at the time was asked to count Diddy's money, and they were on a yacht. And she didn't count the money fast enough. And Diddy got mad. He was like, "Count my money faster! Count my money faster! Count my money faster! You count my money too slow." And so she got in trouble. And then she got scared of Diddy. And then he started chasing her around the yacht. And I'm just thinking, you guys are in the middle of the ocean, being chased around on a yacht. Like, this is crazy. So allegedly she ran away from Diddy. She jumped from one part of the yacht to the to a different part of the yacht below, and she was hanging out with like the workers of the boat. And she was scared, and she was like, I'm gonna get off this boat. Like, they were gonna get a little boat to come pick her up. And when Diddy finally caught her on the boat, Diddy is crazy. Diddy yells at her, "The only way you getting off this boat is if you walk on water." Did Diddy was crazy, but he still had the jokes because how dare you tell somebody to walk on water? That was crazy. I even though that situation was bad and domestic and all that crazy stuff, I just thought that was, I don't know. I thought that was crazy. Um, Something I also wanted to bring attention to was Diddy. When he got an icon award, right? There was a show. He got an icon award, and he went up there and he apologized to Cassie for all the dark times. Do you guys remember that? When he got that award and he stood on the stage, he said, "Hey, and Cassie, I apologize for all the dark times." When he said that, right? Boy, allegedly, the dark times never stopped. And I found that to be so odd. Like, it must have been really messing with his head of all these things that happened, because you were still doing the FOs the day you got arrested. Okay? You were still, being abusive to the next girlfriend, allegedly, the next girl. So, like, to think you got on that stage and said, "I apologize for the dark times." Boy, the dark times kept a rolling. So I didn't really like that. I thought that was weird. Um, Also, all that baby oil. And you're gonna sit here and tell me someone from Johnson and Johnson didn't know? Somebody, let me tell you, somebody at Johnson and Johnson knew something was off for a long time, okay? And speaking of people knowing things for a long time, there was always rumors about Diddy in the entertainment industry, right? Everybody knew the rumors. So when this case started, people thought there was going to be a lot more engagement between Diddy and the people that he would hire, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay. And come to find out, the people that he would hire were like, "Do not touch me," first of all. And Diddy would be like, "Don't touch me, first of all. Don't even look at me, first of all." And yes, the activities after the situation was weird with the chest and all that, and the mixing of the germs. If everybody knows that situation, I just don't want to put this on here and lose monetization and stuff. But all the mixing, yeah, that was weird. Yeah, that definitely gave that definitely gave bi vibes. But he never crossed that line, I felt like, to really say all the industry had to say about him. Because for a long time, people thought he kind of was mixy, right? But I feel like the girls on the stand kind of proved, in a sense, that he wasn't as mixy as we thought. The industry thought he was a lot more mixy. Okay, so that was something I wanted to touch on. Stay in the light. Boy, did he come up with a saying? Diddy will come up with a saying, won't he? Because stay in the light, stay in the light. You popping every day, and you're gonna sit here and tell everybody to stay in the light. Diddy, Diddy had a way to brand everything, from the FOs to the King's Night to the stay in the light. So I always thought it was kind of interesting that when the girl would get upset, he'd be like, "Baby girl, stay in the light, stay in the light." And low key, if it wasn't attached to Diddy's situation, I feel like that's I would take that, but I mean I wouldn't use it in a manipulate. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't use it that way. But stay in the light, it's a good tag. I mean we can't lie about that. Um, Something that also kind of pissed me off about this is before this case all started, Diddy would always talk about Black excellence. Everywhere he went, Black excellence, Black excellence, Black, but nothing was excellent about what you were doing. Nothing. Nothing was excellent. So that kind of like, that kind of made me upset because the way he so like inspired so many people to be excellent, but on his real life, in real life, that nothing was excellent, and I really didn't like that. And next thing, Diddy's lawyer, Mr. Ryan Steele, he ain't nothing to play with. That lawyer right there, that is a really good lawyer. And go ahead and do your little Google search. I'm sure he's going to be the new go-to lawyer because he is really good. And when he gets up there and speaks, when people report on it, they are like, yes, there's a lot of stuff in this case, but Diddy's lawyer is something serious, okay? I wanted to note that. Also, last but not least, the case is going to come to an end soon, but you know who the real winner of the Diddy trial is? Armand Wiggins. Armand killed it live every day. Well, he missed one day, but listen, listen. Armand, he showed up. More oil, more oil. I was on the lives too, guys. Let me know in the comments if you were on the live. The more oil, more oil. Him showing us how Diddy was hiding in the. Listen, he was the real winner of this case, and I hope that all the success that he got from this case continues to grow. He has really grown a lot. Like, I don't know if you guys kind of been following him, but I'm proud to have seen his growth. All right. And last but not least, let me go ahead and tell you my Diddy story, okay? My Diddy story, okay? Um, Many years ago, maybe 7 years ago, oh, there we go. Many years ago, a friend of mine invited me to an event. Now, she knew that I cover a lot of fashion events in the past, and her job invited her to this fashion nonprofit thing, right? And there were a lot of celebrities there. Okay, there was a lot of celebrities there, but I'm kind of used to going to events that have celebrities because I covered fashion shows and red carpets in the past, and so I've actually come across like a lot of different celebrities. All right, um, but at that time, his daughters were walking in the fashion show, which I didn't know. I was just showing up to come to a fashion show. And Diddy was there. Now, mind you, I told you I've come across a lot of celebrities before, but this was the first time I had come across Diddy in a room. Okay. And that day, I have actually talked to a lot of people about, and the event happened maybe over like 7 years ago or so. And for years, I have always told people something was off and I couldn't put my finger on it. And, I passed by him a couple times. He spoke at the event, and I told people for years his energy. There was something about his energy that I just couldn't put my finger on, and that something was odd. And I really couldn't understand it. I couldn't explain it. And I would just tell people, like, his energy, something about his energy. And I always wanted to feel like he had good energy, to be honest, right? Because I'm like, this is Diddy. He's going around saying black excellence, right? But deep down, I always kind of felt like, something about his energy. Like, I don't know. I'm a Taurus. I don't know. The energy was like, you ever came across somebody and their energy was just, what is like, kind of, but I've never come across somebody with energy like his. It was just something else I have never come across before. And for years, I've tried to explain it to people. So when this started to all unfold, I was like, oh, maybe, well, maybe it was some dark energy. I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know. I don't know. But I just remember my feeling. And also at that time, I also thought it was weird that everywhere he went, he would say, I'm going to give this organization $100,000. And everybody would get up and clap. And nobody ever got the $100,000. He said it there. They never really confirmed it. He said it at EYL. And EYL did confirm that they never got the $100,000. So allegedly, maybe Diddy wasn't staying in the light. And I feel like we all see that now, but it just kind of sucks. It kind of sucks that somebody who had done so many amazing things come to find out was extremely abusive, manipulative. Ooh, I can say it now. But I just think like it sucks. And I know my story's not crazy. Of course, I was not at no no freak offs, okay? But I just remember his energy and it always stuck with me over all these years. Like at least one to twice a year, I I have told somebody like, yeah, his I came across him. His energy was really couldn't put my finger on it. But I hope that Cassie is somewhere obviously doing the work, healing. It seems like she has. I hope Gina gets some help. Jane Doe, we don't really know for sure who Jane Doe is, but some people feel like they do. And I hope she gets the help. And overall, I really pray that his family is probably, pray that his family is okay past all this. And that at the end of the day, if you need help, seek help. You know, if you need help, seek help. But this is the end of my video. Now I'm just chatting, y'all. Subscribe if you're new here. Stay here. We're going to have a good time. And love ya.